At dito tayo sa usaping ekonomiya at pagpapalakas pa ng mga MSMEs. Tatalakay natin with Sir Joey Concepcion, Go Negosyo founder at private sector lead for jobs. Sir Joey, magandang araw.
Magandang araw din, Aljo.
Yes, sir. Ano po yung mga factors na nakikita po ninyo na nakatulong po sa paglago ng ekonomiya ng Pilipinas ng 4.3% para po sa second quarter this year?
Well, syempre yung 4.3% is not what we are looking at, no? We should be in the 6% plus and higher, hopefully, no? At importante dito ang yung economy has to continue to grow. Ang mga ginawa ni President Marcos na mga state visits niya and all of that are starting to come in, no? But it takes time. So importante dito is we have to continue pushing and promoting the Philippines. At itong mga MSMEs natin, malaking bagay yan kasi they're the largest job generators, no? So if the economy improves, then definitely they will have more economic activity, they will be able to grow. Yun ang kailangan natin. Yung interest rates natin na tumaas dahil dito sa Amerika tinataas rin ang interest rates nila to bring down the inflation. Pero nakikita ko, babagsak na rin ang presyo ng mga key commodities natin, no? From last year, no? At that's starting to be felt, no? Now, no? So pag bumagsak yung mga presyo natin dito ng mga consumer goods natin, then hopefully consumption can increase. Now, and that is what this government and the private sector is focusing on right now.
Opo. Itong naitalang paglago po na ekonomiya ng Pilipinas, ano po ang epekto nito sa mga MSMEs? Well,
isang sektor na medyo kailangan ang malaking tulong, ang agrikultura, yung mga micro at small farmers natin. Kaya nung PISAC meeting natin with the President, I told the President, right now, maganda ang relationship namin with DA and DAR, Secretary Estrella and Undersecretary Sebastian. And of course, the President is the Secretary of Agriculture. I requested na kung pwede the private sector, no, ang mga big brothers natin sa agrikultura na talagang magaling, gustong tumulong. At yung mga meetings namin with Department of Agrarian Reform is very important kasi itong mga condonation ng loans dito sa mga lupa ay was done. No? Now what we have to do is create scale, group the farmers together, work with either cooperatives or mga big brothers dito sa private sector. So I mentioned to the President, if the private sector, I believe, should have a role and partner with government. So talagang mas mabilis ang pag-angat dito sa mga maliit na mga farmers natin, no?
Opo. Kamakailan po ay nagkaroon ng pagpupulong ang Pangulo kasama ang Private Sector Advisory Council kung saan tinalakay ang job creation. Ano po ang ilan sa naging bahagi po ng proposed strategies ng ating pong pamahalaan? Katuwang ang private sector kaugnay sa acceleration of job creation.
Well, dito, sinabi ko dito sa programa ng agrikultura, tutulong dito ang private sector. So yung hiling namin sa Presidente to include the private sector. At sangayon naman si Presidente, of course, he knows that the private sector will be an effective partner, no? At isa pang yung ease of doing business, no? Sinabi rin ng grupo namin that the PESA one-stop shop should follow and mirror what other countries are doing, no? On top of that, one of the job members, sector members, also discussed about maritime, no? Especially working on the Philippine Shipping Registry and how Manila can be part of the logistics hub, no? And dito na malaking discussion natin with the President was the EVs, no? The electric vehicles, no? At alam natin, marami dito into nickel mining. And the idea in the long term is to be able to do the batteries here. No? At this point in time, it's not possible. We are one of the exporters of nickel. Pero ang tingin ko dito, that sector of electric vehicles will start to grow. It's growing all over the world. At it will be cheaper to eventually down the road make an electric vehicle, no? And more people in the Philippines will be able to afford these cars, no? Ngayon medyo mahal yan, pero as economies of scale are brought forward, malaking bagay kasi biro mo wala na makina, battery na lang ang key component ng kotse, no?
Ano po yung mga programang isinusulong ng pribadong sektor, Sir Joey, para sa, ito naman, karagdagang trabaho para po sa atin, mga Pilipino?
Well, importante kasi yung talent upgrading, no? Yung support natin sa upskilling ng mga BPOs, no? Through either scholarships. Kasi to be an entrepreneur or to be able to join the workforce, kailangan one person has to have a skill. Now, it depends, no? How good is his skill, then he gets the job, no? So, our group put a lot of emphasis on really upskilling our people, especially in the areas that is in high demand, nurses, and many others, no? So, this is where we're trying to bridge. Now, yung private sector ang tutulong rin dito to ensure that that the high demand for the Philippines, we make sure that those people like the nurses, etc., will be trained, no, and improve their skills. So, job generation, either domestic or via overseas, can really accelerate, provided the backbone of this, which is the schools and the specialty schools in training people, are focused on the weakness that we have, no? So, like nurses, we are the top choice in the world, no? So we are doing very well in training our nurses, no? But we need more nurses kasi nakukulang rin tayo dito domestically. So job generation will be generated to our MSMEs. If we do well in the agri sector, our farmers, if they are able to grow, alaking bagay ng sector ng agrikultura dito sa Pilipinas. That's a huge job generating sector, no? And of course, the new areas like electric vehicles and all of that are also the future, not only for the Philippines but for the world.
Ano pa po ang mga paraan para po mahikayat natin ang mas marami pang Pilipino na pasukin ang industriya ng agrikultura?
Well, importante kasi, and this is where I say, may nakasalalay sila sa isang big brother. Katulad si Winston Uy, one of the biggest tobacco growers in Ilocos area, no, the north. Nakikita natin yung mga farmers, either they work for him, some of them work for him, or are partners, no? So they are partners for a contract growing scheme. So yung contract growing scheme or contract farming is the method that will accelerate, no, our farmers. Kasi dapat may mentor sila. Sa isang negosyante, kailangan may isang mentor, no? So if you're in agriculture, you will automatically have a mentor pag yung nakasandal ka sa isang malaking entrepreneur sa agrikultura. So that is what we're trying to do. Dito sa mga retail and services, nakikita natin, may mga franchising concepts. So may mentor na rin dyan sa mga sari-sari stores, yung Pure Gold, yung SM. As part of them supplying the products, they provide the technology as well, no? So the private sector is and has to be the big brother. Government is the enabler. They're the ones that create the highway, make it smooth for private sector to be able to link up with our MSMEs, whether in retail, service, or agriculture.
At ayon din sa isang career platform website, Sir Joey, kabilang ang work from home. Opo, sa mga hinahanap na mga job seeker ngayon. Ano po inyong masasabi dito?
Well, and I have mixed views on that. Kasi pag work from home tayo, anong mangyayari sa Pilipinas? There will be less mobility. If there is less mobility, there is less consumption. Walang sasakay sa angkas, joyride, sa mga bus, sa mga jeepney, walang kakain sa labas, lahat kakain lang sa bahay at walang bibili ng mga damit pang opisina, lahat yan. So yung work from home, okay lang yan sa pandemya, pero sa panahon natin ngayon, wala naman pandemic eh. So, dapat tuloy-tuloy ang encouragement to work from office para may discipline na rin. Siyempre, I understand that certain sectors, they can work from home because they're in the IT sector. But I would really encourage that to stimulate the economy, we have to encourage more mobility. If there is no mobility, there will be very weak consumer spending, and that will lead to lower number in our growth of the Philippines. No?
Kabilang din sa tinalakay po ng Advisory Council, yung pong mga hakbang ng Pilipinas upang i-address po ang energy o green energy demand. Sir Joey, ano ang plano at magiging bahagi po ng pribadong sektor tungkol po dito?
Well, as we know, green energy now, marami dyan pumapasok sa solar and all of this. No? Importante dito, whatever form of energy that we source from is the cost. Our cost of power should eventually come down. Yun ang importante sa akin. Of course, moving to green energy, you pollute the air less. No, it doesn't. That is the future. But I think we need to balance. What is more important to me at this point in time is the cost of power ng mga consumers at yung industriya. In other words, business and consumers, we would like to see power rates go down because power is a very big component to our cost. No? So if that goes down, then our MSMEs will have better margins. The industry will continue to expand. So we are after, Filipinos need more affordable products. No? So I believe in clean energy. It should be towards reduction in power, the cost of power. No?
Okay, mensahe na lang Sir Joey sa ating mga kababayan. Go ahead.
Well, we're towards already the last quarter of the year. No, yung importante quarter na to kasi yung Christmas. At importante dito yung mga micro, small, and medium enterprises continue to grow. And hopefully, our central bank will not increase anymore the rates. And eventually, as they see inflation muted and going down, hopefully the interest rates will come down for of course, our MSMEs. No? Many of them do borrow money, and importante sa kanila yung working capital. But I'm very optimistic, no, that under the administration of Marcos, because of his consultative process with the private sector and the private sector helping the president in ideas, and I can see greater collaboration between the government and the private sector. I think we will have a good year, no?
Thank you so much, Sir Joey Concepcion, Go Negosyo founder at private sector lead for jobs. Ingat po.